Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is the SOESD Indian Education Program CPC Consortium Parent Committee meeting. It is February 9th. This is our meeting for February that was rescheduled a week later. And thank you for joining us at a later time. If you have any questions, you can contact us via email or on our website. All right, welcome, everyone. I'm just going to share the agenda and our meeting notes from last week. So I'll do the meeting notes first. Can everyone see that? Great.
Yeah.
So these were recorded by me. We had that great presentation by Allison. Thanks again for that. Lacey talked about the upcoming needs assessment. We shared mid-data report, shared those recruitment forms. Yeah. And so that's it. Does anyone have any questions? Or do these look good for approval? Great. Let me stop that share.
Yeah, those look good. That's what we did last week.
Yeah. I didn't make nothing up. I needed that laugh. Thank you. Native humor. It's like the biggest blessing. It really is. And we have Echo joining. Great. Hey, Echo. We are already recording. We just got the notes approved by Allison. They look good. I didn't make nothing up. And we're going to take a look at the bylaws if everyone's ready to rock and roll with that. Okay, here's the bylaws. And then also we'll need to vote if anyone online would like to take a co-chair position. Should we do that first, guys?
Sure.
Yeah? Well, we got Echo here. Okay.
Yep. Hi.
So,
Hey.
hello.
Hey.
So is anyone interested in a co-chair position?
May I interrupt?
Yeah, of course.
Lizzie, would you mind sharing a little bit what you found out about being a co-chair in general, so that as they're voted, we have it on record as to what the requirements are to be a co-chair?
Great.
Sure. Yeah. So as I'm preparing for the easy application, which is the application we have to complete for the Title VI grant. And so I was reviewing the documents for that. And in it, I saw where it said, and I could find it and share it if I had a moment.
Got it here.
You have it? Okay, great. And
share
what they said, they kind of gave some indications of who can be on a CPC. Do you want to share your screen, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm just pasting it in so I don't have to open my email.
And it distinguishes between being a member of the CPC and being in a chairperson role. So the being on the CPC in general, you can be either a like a teacher or staff member of a school where Native students who are parts of the program attend. That's one possibility. Another option is for tribal representatives from tribes that are within 50 miles of any of the school boundaries of the region. So that would basically include, to my understanding, it would include the tribes that for whom we do tribal consultation. So that would include the Klamath tribes, that would include Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe, and then the Coquille and Confederated tribes of Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Sisla. So those are the tribes. So if someone is a representative of any of those tribes, and it says that's under number 2 there, if the agency will serve if such tribes have any children in the school. Well, since we're a large consortium, we have children of all of those tribes in our schools, so that would be applicable. And then number 4, skipping down to number 4, students. So that's where we talk about the student representatives that I know JC has talked about before, trying to find students who may be interested in that. The first one speaks to the chairperson role, and that is where it says parents and family members of eligible Indian children enrolled in the LEA. The LEA is just the local educational agency, and that's basically the schools, the public schools. So parents and family members of students who are eligible for the Title VI program, which basically that means having a 506 form on file. So the chairperson, so in order to be chairperson, we would need to have a 506 form on file for a child. It does say and family members, so it could theoretically be another family member for that child. So I just wanted to share that just so you can kind of see who can be. And perhaps if you know of people who might fall under some of the other categories who would like to be involved in the CPC, you can kind of see what those different categories of eligibility are for participating in the CPC.
Thanks, Izzy. Does anyone have any questions on that? So this is directly from the grant. And anytime you see IPC, that's our CPC. We're named that because we're in a consortium because we're housed under ESD. But anytime federally, it's known as the Indian Parent Committee. And all other Indian Ed programs in the state of Oregon, they're known as the Indian Parent Committee, IPC. So
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
like, I believe that for Cow Creek, I think our tribal reservation area was about 81 miles from here. Are we
from you,
from me physically,
Not
but
from me.
also from the program? Right. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, are we talking about our whole service area, or are these miles based on like your reservation?
Right.
It's-
So it's
yeah.
within the school that we serve. So it would be located within 50 miles of whichever school we serve is
Okay.
counted in that.
Okay.
But we're unique because we don't technically have someone within 50 miles, but we serve all of the tribes because we serve their students. I'm so sorry. I picked up a terrible cold. But we are working within 4 tribes, and that's Klamath, Coquille, Coos Lower Umpqua, and Cow Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Thanks for answering
within
that.
the 50-mile rule or not, we know that there's a lot of value in that consultation process. So previous years we had that waived, and we no longer do that. So if there was also in our bylaws, because of this rule, we have an immediate approval for any tribal representation. So if someone from a tribe of Oregon wanted to join our board, in our bylaws now it states that there's no voting. They're automatically in. So that's available to any of the Oregon tribes, not just the 4 that we serve. You know, if a tribe of Oregon wants in on this, great. You know, we're happy to have you. You know, so and yeah.
Thing okay out there?
Yeah, but the 50 miles, technically it would be the Medford office, previously Phoenix, but yeah. And also Tolowa D Nation, Smith River, California is within 50 miles of Cape Junction, but it's California. So there's also future talks of, not using those borders. So that might change down the road. Yeah, because technically that's our closest tribe is Tolowa D Nation, but it's California.
Yeah, and they did talk about how they talk about in the Title VI, they talk about the boundaries as opposed to just where like the headquarters are.
Yeah.
That it's the boundaries, and it also includes of ceded lands. So it can
Oh,
it can be farther than what like even current maps and things that you might find have because if it also has included ceded lands, which
that's
is
interesting because I know there's definitely some close, I want to say, within 50 miles. But
yeah, but they
hot
haven't. I don't
springs.
think the ODE has like revisited. Like they at one point they told us all the districts like which tribes we consulted with,
Yeah.
and some of them were interesting because like Three Rivers was told to be consulting with Warm Springs. But they never really explained to Three Rivers why that was. And I'm not sure that they explained it to Warm Springs either because when the district tried to reach out to Warm Springs, they were a little confused as to why, because it's so far apart.
Yeah,
But
that's like the furthest one. Maybe Burns
yeah,
Paiute, but
yeah. So
it's
it's an
interesting.
interesting thing for
Yeah,
sure.
reservation tribal land math. Yeah, like I don't know how they do that, but they do it, and it's important. And we're honored to partner with them. Yeah, so that's that document. And then you can see the conflicts, that kind of stuff that we address in the application form. When someone nominates themselves to join the CPC. So I think that's pretty good. And we do have teachers mentioned in our bylaws as well. So let me stop that share. So is anyone interested in doing a role?
What do you mean role?
For the council? Let's vote. LOL. Allison. Well, who are we voting on? Allison? So there's a co-chair position available. I haven't connected with Jackie, so I'm not sure on the secretary position. I think currently it states like if you miss 2 in the bylaws, so we can look at that. But yeah, certainly a co-chair position, or if you guys want to reformulate the board, whatever you guys want to do is up to you. But I would say I think Allison would do amazing. I think Randall would do amazing. I think Mariah, Jemiah, Steph, any one of them. But it's up to you and what you want to take on and how you want to steer the council. So
Don't you have to be a Jackson County member to represent the Jackson County co-chair?
previously, that's how we did it previously, and that's how it is now. We have like a balance, but also that was decided by this council. So if there is a change, then we can certainly implement changes if that's something that someone wants to address. I myself, I like having the balance because Josephine's so rural, like we are so rural. Where it's not, the program's not Ashland focused, or like just doing events there, I like having adequate representation for the families we serve, and so in my mind, that always felt right. Oh,
Agreed.
Randall
And then,
nominates Allison, who is Jackson County.
the other, like the position for the treasurer can go to either county.
Yeah. Yeah, secretary, treasurer. Yeah. And then
Oh, we still have
also
a secretary as well.
it was a shared role position,
Okay.
secretary/treasurer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we'll have to look at the bylaws too, and I can reach out to Jackie and see if she has interest in joining back. So I think for this meeting, probably just that co-chair position because they stepped down.
Mhm.
And then we can
What I had thought was, you know, if there's a need, I would definitely fill it. I didn't want to volunteer for it right away because I thought that doing a vote would be a
Yeah.
better option. And so I actually wanted to vote for Randall because I feel like we don't have a lot of male representation. And I did tell him that we have, you know, boys and young men in our program as well, and we've got a lot of good female leaders, but you know, initially that was my thought, just to kind of have a little balance there with having some male energy as well. So
Yeah. You two are the cutest. Okay, so Randall's one for, I should probably write this down. Let me find the notes.
And then how long do we have until the next set of voting as well?
Maybe we could put it on the agenda for the next meeting, which would be the first week in March.
And that's for the next set of school year? Is that?
No.
No, I mean cause this board was on a 2-year term, and doesn't that 2-year term end in the positions were all ending in what, fall? Do they end in fall or do they
Yeah, it would end in the school year.
at the
So
end
it
of
would
the
be
school year?
June-ish.
Okay.
They will be the last meeting for sure. But also the bylaws, it states it's a 2-year term.
Mm-hmm.
But you can stay as long as you have a child in the program. So we'll have to figure that out. But I kind of like revoting every 2 years myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's good for everybody to get an
Yeah,
opportunity in the
yeah,
different positions. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
I
But
was
it's
just asking because whoever gets into this position, does that roll over for a 2-year position for them? Or does that mean that when we do the revotings for all the positions in May or at the end of the school year, that all those positions would be up for opening again?
I
Or is this
see. Yeah.
person locked in?
So that we'll have to put in the bylaws for sure, because I don't believe it's in there at all right now. So
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
question. And really it's up to y'all. I would say keep it on the 2-year term, just so it's easy. But really it's up to you guys. Okay.
I feel like that would sound like a good plan if it's taking
Yeah.
on your role, because it takes enough time to fit into your role and then to start, you know, doing everything in that role. Like I know when I joined CPC, it took a little while for me to figure out what was going
Yeah.
on. And so
Yeah. And you can always put your name in the hat again, to serve more than 2 years. As it states right now in the bylaws, unless that changes, because it's basically as long as you're a parent in the program, you're welcome to be here. If you're willing to, serve and help, great. We'll take you. So, but we will definitely add something in there. I think there's just something real basic about special voting. So we'll look at that. Okay, so Randall nominated Allison. Allison nominated Randall. Do you guys want to do it anonymous?
You may want to note Randall's reminder that Aaron's graduating, and so he will next year he will
right.
need
Oh
to.
I
my
saw
gosh.
that. Congratulations, you're almost there.
You can taste freedom. That's my joke. My son's 13.
Yes, freedom is almost there. You are correct.
Gosh.
But that is why I don't feel that I should be up for it.
Because you'll be done.
Allison, yes.
Gotcha. but you do great this year too. And also if we're revoting, it's not going to matter, you know, if we stay as is. But if you're not,
One,
that's cool. You can decline your nomination. That's totally fine. Thank you, sir.
you do.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. So we got Allison.
Woo!
That's easy.
Was anyone else gonna vote? No. Like,
I got them. They all voted for you.
everyone
No.
did. Oh,
Kidding, Randall. Nobody sent me
I
anything.
vote you in. I second it.
All right. Great.
Yeah,
So we did
I second it,
Randall,
third it, and
Echo.
fourth it. Woo!
Yay,
But also, I vote
Allison.
that you take it for 2 years.
okay. 2 years.
Okay, you're locked in, lady.
Fine.
Okay.
Honestly, that would really help with the transition for next school year. So the
Yeah.
voting will be October. September really is the first month back. Like we come back August like 27th, but it's just training. So like the first like work week is the first week of September. So that's
Okay.
when everything will be sent out. We'll try and get as many parents in the mix. We'll do the nomination form like we did, all the same stuff. And then October meeting, it'll be the first meeting, the first week of October.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, motion to approve.
Well, thank you for that. That sounds exciting. It'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great. Allison as
And
co-chair.
can I just say that, everybody start giving it thought for that next vote, because my 2-year term for my co-chair position will be up, and it will be someone else's turn to fill that position. I will put my name in the hat for, any other positions that need, backup and filled at that point in time, just to make sure that we have all the positions filled. But yeah, definitely start thinking about it, Josephine County, because we're definitely we're gonna need someone's gonna step up, lead it. You can do it, you guys. It's easy peasy. JC does all of it anyway. I love you, honey. That.
I do very little. Okay, so I'm going to share the bylaws while I'm editing them, if that works. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Let's see them.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So I'll reach out to Jackie this week. And we'll see about that. Great. Welcome. All right, so that's done. So I did send these to you. If there's anything you guys think that we should update, I do want to look at that special voting and make sure that everything's easy good. Okay, so we have 2/3 affirmative vote. Okay. So what do you guys think about that, having 2/3 of the vote? So that means 2/3 of the people listed here. And if we could get extra members, that would be so great. But so we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7. So we would need 5 out of 7 present for voting. So let me know what you think of that, or if you want to change that. So here you can see the terms right now may serve multi-year terms as long as their student is enrolled. Yep. Student representatives 1 year. Teacher, counselor, that's from what we shared earlier on the people that, can be student representative. Yep. I don't like including the GPA stuff, but that's just me personally. Sometimes it's hard for our kids. Yep. Eligible voting shall be entitled to 1 vote, cast vote. That's good. Teacher, counselor positions provide input or advice. Regular meetings, special committees. Quorum, 5 members of the CPC shall constitute quorum. Yeah, so we still have it as 2/3. Mm-hmm. Yep.
May I make a reminder?
Yes, please.
When it comes to approving the application for the Title VI grant, we will need to make sure if we keep the 2/3
2/3.
voting members need to approve, make sure that we select the date and everybody come and we at least have 5 because we will need that approved before it is due. And usually our meetings are like shortly before then,
Yeah.
so that we can include it in the grant application.
Well, do those need to be signed in person, or can we send them via email and then have them like with a live signature that way as well?
Oh, like we did last year?
Yeah.
We did it by DocuSign last year, and so if people like that, we could do that too. The only thing that is needed is just your email address. So we would just send the DocuSign link to your email address, and then all you have to do is click on it. So if you guys like it that way, we could do it that way again.
And I can put like a note in here too for approving grants, DocuSign. Yeah, will constitute, something. Just to make sure, because that's like the main thing. Because we also have to send these bylaws with that. So we just want to make sure that it's.
Yeah, I feel like we should add that in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, in case you're looking at your calendars, the application is usually due like the end of the first week of May. So I think what we were hoping to do was have the April CPC meeting be the meeting where we like show you our intent, like our proposed plan, and then that way you have a chance to like really think about it, and we have plenty of time to adjust it and make revisions based on your feedback with plenty of time to get it submitted on time. So if you can be sure to come to the April meeting, that would be really helpful. And if for any reason that becomes a problem, I think last year we did end up at some point scheduling like a follow-up separate meeting specific to it. So we can always do a special meeting if that works better for people's schedules. But just to kind of have that on your radar. And we need to start planning. We also have to do a public hearing. So we'll be scheduling that as well to try to do that around the same times.
Yeah, so here just to highlight, because it was something I said, we do include tribal representatives. Yeah. We got the 2-year terms that Echo said. We definitely got that here, but they may serve multi-year terms. So each term will be up to revote. I think that sounds really good. If everyone's cool with keeping 2/3, that's 5 out of 7, then that's cool. This seems a little crazy, the attendance, but I think we had to like put something there. But yeah, totally cool. If you're not gonna make it, we're not gonna crack down on you, like, um, but maybe if like you never make it to one, then we'll be like, hey, do you still want to do this? Or if not, but yeah, it is there. Um, yeah, is there anything that's like glaring to anyone or that we should include or that maybe that sounds good.
Maybe we could
So,
change the 24-hour notice because sometimes
yeah,
things happen in a shorter
that's
notice.
so true. That did
Like
seem
people
kind of
have
crazy, right?
emergencies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a doctor's appointment. Um, okay, so what should I put?
I mean, just like, as soon as possible,
An absence
that's what I
will
would.
be excused if a member contacts the CPC co-chair. Let me do that. And or Indian educator. In case, I think just in case of whatever's coming up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just I think as soon as somebody's able, like considering that I work in an emergency room, I know how
Yeah.
frequently things can just
I didn't give
happen
y'all
that are
24 hours for
unexpected. Yes.
canceling Monday. Yeah,
Yeah.
like things happen sometimes. All members are required to attend each meeting, and absence will be excused if a member contacts the CPC co-chair and or facilitator, or in the case of an immediate emergency, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So that kind of leaves it up, like if you're not able to contact anyone, great, it could still be excused. Okay. Yeah, I guess we got the voting in there. That looks good. I did add this just so we had it. I hate typing in front of people. Like if no one's watching, I'm cruising. I'm driving those keys like a Lexus. If someone's watching, Res Pony. Yeah.
That's so funny. I
She
wasn't judging
stutters.
your typing speed, don't worry. It's so funny.
Okay, there we go. There. Okay, so that looks good. And basically we just update them every year or when like the main council changes. I think that's important. But these are available all the time. So anytime, something needs updating or anything like that, we'll get it updated. So the next thing is we'll update our website. So it has the most accurate, up to date bylaws, and we'll update all of your information. So if somebody wants to talk to you about our program, they can find you, basically on there. And then also, I'll probably include it in the newsletter for Allison since that's a new position, and also for um the year in the front page. Oh, yeah. I'll also include, there we go. Mariah. So if you want to do like a short bio and a headshot, we'll just introduce you to the rest of the all of the parents. So the newsletter goes to all the schools and the parents of our program and all of the tribes of Oregon. So if you just want to do a little blurb, I can send you mine so you have a reference, and I can send you old newsletters where we introduce the council. But basically it'll just say, you know, you write it like someone else wrote it. I don't know why, but it just comes off better. And like a photo if you're comfortable, and then we'll also include your tribal affiliation. And yeah, the newsletter will go to the tribes of Oregon. It goes to the Oregon Department of Education, so they can put our events and stuff in their newsletter. And then also it goes to all the schools and parents, and then all of our community partners, all of the Native elders in the community. It's just a way of informing everyone of the changes and what we have going on. If you're
Okay.
comfortable.
Yeah, I'll
Great.
work on that. Thank you.
Great. I'll send you mine.
Thank you.
And also I have like the most edited photo ever. And that's fine. You know, whatever photo you pick, it'll be great. Mine's like 10 years old, but I'm never updating it. You know, I'm like, no, I'm using that one. I'll be like 65, you know, and I'm still using that one. 2016 browse, pulled all of it. So great. And then Allison, I can send you the one that you previously sent. So you got a starting off point. If you want to update it, cool. Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe. Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. If we do have time, I had some follow-ups for Lacey for that last meeting we had. She had asked some questions.
Cow Creek. What is it? Cow Creek Umpqua Band of Indians?
It's a Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe
Of
of
the
Indians.
Umpqua Tribe. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You can also put Nahan Kodana if you want to. I could spell it for you.
Is that to say Cow Creek people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I learned that in their language class.
There you go. It's a traditional way to say it, which sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine's Oyate, which just means people. And Lakota is the language we speak. So I'm just a Lakota, person. Okay, go ahead with DC. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, go for it, Allison.
Okay, so I just knew that you had asked the families if they had any input, for a couple different things. First was for like the tribal consultation and for our superintendent, and then also for the Indian Ed program. And so I ended up asking, a couple of my family members. One of my I know it's going to be anonymous, but one of my high school age cousins ended up letting me know that she thought it would be important for schools to include more like information on grants for Native American students outside of the specialized education departments. So like aside from just Indian Ed, if schools in general, because like as we know, not all of Native students are enrolled in the Indian education program. And so for them just having that information to offer high school students, she thought would be helpful. And then I had asked my daughter, and my daughter's in elementary school. And one thing that I thought was really interesting was she was able to recognize from her school's jogathon that her tribe had sponsored the jogathon, but she also picked out of that nobody had mentioned it during that entire like event they had going on. And so I guess just making sure that like the recognition is given for the tribes where it's due within the schools. She also said that when she was learning about the tribes of Oregon, she felt that there wasn't information on her tribe, which she was super upset about because she's, our tribe's local and they do a lot for the community. And she just was thinking that there should have been more said about her tribe, but she actually told me that there wasn't anything mentioned. And so I wasn't in the classroom that day. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but just having that come from her, I wanted to share it and just be supportive of it as a parent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing it. That's like, honestly, if I'm working in a school, like those are the things that I want to know about because if you're making decisions about which tribal history, shared list history lessons you're going to teach in your district or in your school, it sure makes a lot of sense to consider your geographical proximity to a certain tribe. Like if I'm in Southern Oregon, it sure makes sense to teach lessons about tribes that are located in Southern Oregon. And especially if I know that I have students in my district who are from those tribes. And we're actually going to be having on Wednesday, we're actually having our tribal consultation event with all of the districts and the tribes. And we're sharing information about like how for each district, how many students are there from that particular tribe enrolled in their district. So all the districts will have that data about, we have this number of students that are from this particular tribe and this number from this particular tribe specific to the ones that are participating, which, does include Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe.
Yeah, and
Indians.
that's just to be like culturally sensitive too, because it's because it is a recognized tribe and it would make sense to share about all the tribes that are local, not just one or the other.
Sure. But again, like I feel like if you know that you definitely have at least one student from that tribe, I feel like can make an extra effort to make sure that their tribe is included in the curriculum for sure. Um, yeah, that's really great information. Can I ask you a clarifying question about this grant and scholarship information? Just to make sure I was understanding.
Yeah.
Was your cousin was she feeling like she was needing more information about scholarships in general, not just ones that are specific to
It
being
was
a member of the
Native
tribe?
American based and how to apply for them. Like, what is the qualifying factors for them and how do they apply for them? And I know that we have Indian education and program, and it gave me a great opportunity to try to better convince them to come be involved in our program more. And so I was able to talk with them a little bit more about what we offer, and because I know this program is great around that with our students. But I think just it was more for like the school system in general, like aside from our program, having Native American based scholarships and grants available, and then what they need to apply for them, and maybe having a little bit of like, assistance if the kids need it. Because I know
Okay.
like not all of our schools have the NASUs and not everybody's enrolled in our Indian education program, but just like in general, having that information being open to Native students would be helpful.
Thank you. That is really helpful. And
That's
I think
really good
JC, maybe you
feedback.
and I can talk more about, and I think we did talk about it a little
We
bit, that we
actually
want
have
to.
talked about it because we do professional development trainings for the schools. But currently, right now, I'm kind of like a liaison for all of those career specialists. And I provide our training that we do for our Indian Ed kids, but it's specific for Native focus because, as you know, if they're not federally recognized, enrolled themselves, the student, then there's certain grants they're not eligible for. And that's just the way it goes. So some are diversity driven. And then also knowing our terms like blood quantum, there's still scholarships that ask for a quarter blood quantum, or you're not going to be able to apply for it. So we do have that rocket and rolling. already. We have a pretty large scholarship presentation. We have a training available, and we also have videos on our YouTube channel. Those will be coming up again very soon. But currently, right now, I provide all that information to all those people at the schools in those positions. And yeah, they utilize me. And so I do, I certainly have worked with students not in our program, but are passionate about college. And then also great CPC, the student volunteer position, works on those college scholarships and whatnot. But yeah, so we do quite a bit there. But I think putting it in with the professional development piece, which goes right to the districts, would be a good idea going forward. So that's great feedback and something we can totally implement really easy.
Okay, I think
pieces where you already have going.
I had one more thing too that I just was looking over my note after I talked with my daughter, and then I'm not sure like what all is within our curriculum in her classroom, the day they're learning it, because like I said, I mean, it would be good to go sit in there, and I haven't done that at this time, but I know she was saying also that she wants kids her age to be able to understand certain things, like what a ceremony is, what a powwow is, and when she talks about drumming, what she's referencing. I guess she felt like that a lot of kids her age didn't like know what she was referring to when she talks about cultural practices, and she has to explain it a lot, which kind of makes her like not want to talk about it as much. So just like I guess another suggestion was just being like that we have that, like it seems so basic to people who are native that practice those things, but like it kind of seems like kiddos that age don't really have the concept of that, which is just culturally relevance and just that social aspect of being culturally sensitive and understanding amongst your peers.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
That's
Yeah, I just so in terms of like the content of when they're thinking about the content of the lessons that they are teaching, to make sure that a prioritization is on current cultural practices so that they can understand if they are hearing about them in the current, like, in the community, that they
Right,
have
like,
an
and
understanding of
at like,
what that means.
and yeah, and maybe at like an age appropriate level to where it's like, these curriculums are written by adults, but like, what does that mean to an 11-year-old, or, just so that they can be aware
Yeah.
in that way. Yeah.
Good, excellent point. Thank you. Yeah.
Like the children at elementary level have a basic understanding, regardless of the parents' faith, of what church is, but they don't know what ceremony is. So it's kind of,
Right.
what I'm getting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just putting it more. Yeah. Gotcha. That's great.
And if you mentioned specifically, I heard drumming, I heard ceremony, I heard powwow. Are there other like vocabulary or concepts that you guys think would be essential to include in a curriculum like that?
Dancing styles. Alexander just popped in. He's sitting next to me.
Smudging is a pretty
That goes
basic
under
one.
powwow. Yeah, smudging.
Maybe raptor feather protocol.
Regalia.
If you think of regalia, thank you. If you think of other ones, you can just send them to me or send them to JC and she can send them to me because I can make a little like list to share with districts to say like these are some key concepts that would be great if you could make sure that that's if you're teaching a unit, teach this.
That
That's
reminds me, everyone needs to apply for their feathers now through USDA. through the forestry department, and you write graduation on the top of your application. And you're not asking for a whole eagle, you're not asking for a whole wing or tail. You're going to put individual feathers. And that's how you can get your graduation feathers if your tribe is not providing them. And a lot of times they're not able to if you live off-res. So I need to put something out there. Let me just make a note. Sorry, Lacey, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was actually just gonna answer in the chat, but I can answer out loud. Because Andrea was suggesting that I give an update on the number of 506 forms, like what our student count is right now, and it's currently 272. So that's where we're at right now in terms of having like students move out versus getting new forms for students. So again, strongly encourage if you know of anyone who might have kids for whom we would not have a 506 form yet, especially if they have children in like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and maybe they haven't completed them for a few years. You know, it was when those children were too young at the time. It would be great to get them included because the first week of March is when I have to submit the student counts on which our funding for next year is based. So basically, we need to have whatever we have in our hands at that point. That's what we're going to get funded for next year. So this month is a great month for us to try to get those 506 forms, and so we can get the highest count that we possibly can, and that's just more funding for the program. So yeah, hope to get as many as possible.
Yeah, I think we had 28 seniors, I want to say last year. It was like 28 or 29. So the joys of the program every year, you know, you lose like 30 kids. So it's like trying to find those new 30 for kindergarten age.
I keep bringing this up, but I know the Indian education program is federally, it's a federal program, right?
Yeah,
and I know that we have to have, in order for our kiddos, like our young kiddos to be enrolled, they have to be in was it a free preschool program?
Yeah.
Free for
It has to
families?
be paid for by it has to be paid for by the like state funds. So
By
it has
state
to
funds,
be,
okay.
you have to have like a school district that is paying for that program, as opposed to being like it can't be like a Head Start program that is all happens to be housed in a district. It has to be actually funded by the district. And that's where I don't
think we have any.
We have any. It's pretty rare, honestly, because it's not required.
We have one
And so
here in Grants Pass, actually.
which one is it? Because I think I looked into, do you know the name of it? Because I think I looked into it and I feel like it was funded differently, but I wasn't
It
sure.
was federally funded.
It's
Which
with
one is it?
District 7. It's the yeah, I think it is like partially funded, but they like it's in the school like district. Like we go to the school and follow the school rules and use the school system. So I don't know if it's
We'll
like
look into it. Thanks, Jemima.
Yeah, which school is it at?
currently it's at Highland, but they are expanding to their schools district. So
I'll try to see what I can find out.
It's kind of like a pilot program. It's for 3 years, but they are.
You sounded like R2D2 there at the end. You're breaking up a little bit.
But I can look into it and see.
Yeah, that's great.
And ask how it's funded. Thank you for letting me know about that.
Yeah. Great. Alrighty, so that was it for the agenda, just the CPC voting, the bylaws review. Next agenda, I'll certainly follow up with Jackie and see if she's still interested in joining this little. We're getting pushback from Eagle Point about beaded grad caps and regalia for our students. We're going to be so also I typically send it in April's newsletter, but I can send it again to all the schools. But we have, really great wordage from the Oregon Department of Education. So everyone shouldn't be aware of it. But basically, it's any items of cultural significance. So this passed back in 2021. And it's not just for graduations. So it's known as like the graduation law, but it's any public school ceremony, if they're doing an awards night, if they're anything, anything at the school, our Native students are protected by Oregon law to wear anything of cultural significance. And directly on there, it says such as beaded graduation caps. So we have all that verbiage. Yeah, Lacey just put it in the chat. I also privately have sent it as well to Randall over the weekend. But that's it. So yeah, whatever we can do to support, we're here to support because it's law. And it's also extremely important for our children. It would be like, a religious student wearing a cross, our life is ceremony, we're trying to live in balance with the earth. That's why we wear these feathers. That's why we wear these bones, or shell jewelry or, whatever. So yeah. And we're happy to, talk to any administration. We're happy, to just share that this is a law, and just approach it. And I really, I think a lot of people just don't, there's this idea that we're given more, as opposed to other students, and that just isn't the case. And so, Randall, my best suggestion is always bring up a religious child in reference, because that's someone outside of our community. That's how they can think of it. If I'm talking about regalia, I'm talking about military uniform, or, it's like, well, those are war bonnets. You wouldn't just, dress up like a military general and walk down the street, like that's our
Right.
cultural. Yeah. So I always try to make it in their world. So say, are Christian students allowed to wear crosses?
I got you.
So yeah.
But thank you for this information.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it. But I
It's,
will let you know.
yeah, if you need more, we're here
Okay,
to do
thank you.
more. Yeah. But it is such an honor, for our kids. And also, we're very, very fortunate that this passed here in Oregon, because there's very few states that has protection. And we do. And, we're really fortunate. So, but sometimes, I think the schools just don't know that it's any item of cultural significance, because we're not pan-indigenous. Like for me, it's buffalo. For y'all, it's salmon. Like there's differences in regalia. There's differences in culture, and it's 1,000 individual cultures. So,
Right. Like I said,
yeah.
I'm hoping it's just misinformation. They're
Yeah.
misinformed or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. And then also, they just don't want it to get out of hand with all the other kids decorating their caps. And, it's like, but this is culturally relevant for us.
yep.
Yeah. So cool. And they earned them, they earned that. And we're flashy people. I mean, we like to, like, look at the size of this medallion I just got.
That's
like I might
amazing.
need a bigger one. I
think
don't know if it's big
actually
enough.
the more
Yeah.
decorated you are and the more jewelry you have, like the less bad spirits can
Yeah.
attach on you.
Yeah, or you should make sound while you walk. I've heard that for different tribes, like Southwestern tribes. Yeah, we like it. I like to just think of us as flashy people, It's like, wow, the one doing the most, that's us. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, but that's a great reminder. School's ending in May, May, June. So we're going to be rocking and rolling on those events and just getting that information out to schools and supporting our students. We're going to get the scholarship stuff going and the presentations going. And we're also going to share that with our schools. So if there's, it's children that aren't in our program, they might still benefit, because it just is what it is, but people don't have the knowledge of, blood quantum or federal recognition, state, tribe, it's a lot. So yeah, so we'll get that going, March, April for those. Our graduation events and native games, May. And that's it. I feel spring coming. I feel spring coming. Yeah, I'm so excited. I need it. So great. All right. And then I think we'll be doing some planting. Hopefully get on the earth. I got quite a few seeds I got to go through. So yeah, it should be good. So if any of your school where your children are, if any of them want to do Three Sister Gardens, I have seeds for that.
I'd love to help with that because I was just reading about it again, and every year I've been
good.
wanting to do it, and I need to do it in my own yard, but I'd love to help out the schools too if that's something that you're trying to do. So
Yeah, Danny did it at his school at Lorna Burn. And I got a phone call at work and it said he cut himself with a saw. And I'm thinking, like, you don't even know where my mind goes. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a little handsaw, but, and I was like, lady, you don't know how to give information. I still can't look at her directly because I was like, why would you say that? Like, that's not how you approach a parent,
Start by saying he's fine and
right. Everything's okay. He has a minor injury. I was thinking like bandsaw, I don't know. Still the trauma. Thinking of Three Sisters Garden, it's like lives in my body. Cool. All right, so that's it. Unless anyone has anything else, I'm gonna stop recording. So spring, Three Sister Gardens at schools, if anyone's interested. We're going to start doing the scholarship presentation, sharing that with the schools, sharing graduation protocols with the schools, and just keep doing those reminders and just informing them. That's our job. We're the bridge. Yeah. And then native games, graduation's crazy. Oh my gosh. It's flown by.